Hi, everyone. So today is Sunday, April 27, 2025. We continue on the talk of the platform Sutra and on the chapter of the doubts. So the last time we ended at, so unlike the workers in a factory who belongs to a boss, the people in our monastery are more like students in a school. We help train them to become good Dharma practitioners and serve society, not for our own benefit. So you may not want to say lay people have better minds than monastics. Monastics don't focus on their own future, status, or wealth. We cultivate ourselves to benefit others. That's a different path from lay life, and it deserves understanding, not judgment. And the talk was ended on Sunday, April 20th, 2025. Now let's continue with the translation. So it goes like this. Good knowing advisors, if you wish to cultivate, you may do so at home. You need not be in a monastery. If you live at home and practice, you are like the person of the East, whose mind is good. If you dwell in a monastery, but do not cultivate, you are like the person of the West, whose mind is evil. So this passage here means that lay people can practice at home. And of course, they can practice also when they go to the temple. Monastics practice in the temple, but if they are truly cultivating there, then their minds must be good. Only if they are not practicing will their minds not be good. Therefore, whether one is a layperson or a monastic, a good or bad mind is not determined by status. If the mind is wholesome, one doesn't necessarily need to be reborn in the Western Pure Land. But if the mind is unwholesome, then one will not be able to reach the Western Pure Land at all. So the saying of merely purify your mind, that is the West of your self-nature. Now, this here is referring to the Western Pure Land, the land of ultimate bliss of Amitabha Buddha. Among all the Pure Lands introduced by Sakyamuni Buddha, the Western Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha is the most directly connected to the beings of our world through karmic affinity. Sakyamuni Buddha, in many sutras, spoke about this land and urged beings in our world to recite the Buddha's name and aspire to be reborn there. By the time of the sixth patriarch Huineng, this faith was already widespread. That's why he specifically pointed out, if our mind is pure, then the Western Pure Land is not necessarily located in the western direction of this earth. It naturally reveals itself within our own minds. The Western Pure Land and the Eastern Pure Land exist because different Buddhas made different vows, which gave rise to different environments suitable for guiding different beings. These lands are experience means, not ultimate reality, because they have direction, location, and boundaries. Therefore, they are neither universal or eternal. Even though Amitabha Buddha is said to have infinite life and infinite light, and his radiance extends without limit, scriptures also say that one day he will enter nirvana and cease to guide sentient beings. At that time, another Buddha will appear in the Western Pure Land, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, which is Guan Yin Bodhisattva. This shows that in the future, Guan Yin will become a Buddha and take over the work of liberating beings there, while Amitabha Buddha enters nirvana. This implies that even the Western Pure Land and its Buddha are not ultimate or eternal. They are skillful manifestations created to guide beings. In the Platform Sutra, when it speaks of the Pure Land or the West, it refers to the ultimate Pure Land. When our mind is truly pure, we will directly see the Pure Land of our own nature. However, we should not become arrogant or unrealistic and think, as long as my mind is pure, I don't need to go to the Western Pure Land. Just like the earlier example where someone said, as long as I have a good mind, I don't need to be vegetarian or become a monk. That is just self-deception. We cannot say, if my mind is pure, I don't need to recite Amitabha's name or aspire to be reborn in the Western Pure Land. So the question is that, is our mind truly pure? That's a serious question. Is it truly pure or only seemingly pure? So false purity is when we don't even realize our mind is impure. When we don't know that purity Well, when we don't know what purity really means, if we are still ordinary beings full of vexations and ignorance, yet we think our minds are pure, that is a big mistake. There is another kind of person, someone who has some understanding of what purity means, who has had a small awakening, and who has experienced a moment of inner clarity. But because they haven't attained full liberation, their minds can still give rise to impurities like greed, hatred, pride, doubt, and so on. Such people should not say they don't need the Western Pure Land, or that their pure mind alone is enough. To say, I don't care about the Western Pure Land, I don't want to go there, that kind of thinking is incorrect. Well, we should constantly reflect, is my mind truly pure? This kind of reflection is called a mind of humility and remorse. And that is a good mind. When we recognize our impurities, we generate the desire to improve. Secondly, when we make the effort to practice by upholding precepts, cultivating concentration, listening to teachings, reading sutras, we are cultivating wisdom. The Dharma we gain from reading and listening becomes a guide for how we act, speak, and think. Therefore, we must begin by practicing, observing the precepts, like the 5 precepts, practicing concentration through methods such as repentance rituals, Buddha's name recitation, and so on. And also seated meditation, which is the practice of concentration, is one of the best ways to develop concentration. Prostration to the Buddha, chanting sutras, repentance ceremonies, and, well, some practice like prostration from the foot of the mountain, going up to the mountain. So this kind of prostration and others are all valid practice for cultivating concentration or samadhi. So as we said before, true practice is not just about external forms. Real practice means always giving rise to a mind of humbleness and reflection in everyday life. So many of us don't have the habit of doing prostration to the Buddha statue, meditating, or doing repentance. And that is why it's hard to develop a reflective mind. Even after reflecting once, we might still repeat bad behaviors, negative thoughts, or harmful speech. Well, because of this, we need a fixed daily routine. So set aside time each day to meditate or to do prostrations. Weekly or monthly, make time to listen to Dharma talk or read sutras. Yearly or seasonally, engage in deeper spiritual practices like meditation retreats, intensive retreat, and so on. While others go on vacation or relax for fun, we spend the time training our mind. Meditation or using the method of the Buddha's name recitation. Now, this helps us develop clarity and peace in everyday life and follow the Bodhisattva path with joy, serenity, and purity. So we have this organization called Dharma Drum Mountain. What is it? What is it about Dharma Drum Mountain? It is a place and a community focused on human education and development. We believe that Buddhist education is education toward Buddhahood, that is, learning to become a Bodhisattva. And to become a Buddha, one must begin by cultivating the human qualities. A Buddha is accomplished as a human being. So the first step is to be a good human being. Every facility and activity at Dharma Drum Mountain will carry an educational purpose using the perspectives, methods, and values of the Dharma to advance what we call education for humanity. Well, why do you come here to listen to Dharma talks? Is to receive Buddhist education, Buddhist teaching. Education doesn't only take place in school. Listening to Dharma, spend time at the temple, and even just observing the temple's environment. These are all forms of education. So the Dharma Drum Mountain's physical structures and its spiritual content, both the hardware and the software, are designed to serve educational purposes. There are 8 key statements from Dharma Drum Mountain. So, first of all, it's the mission of Dharma Drum Mountain. Uplift the character of humanity, build a pure land on earth. Dharma Drum Mountain spirit, dedicate ourselves to serving others fulfill the needs of society. Now, this is the Bodhisattva spirit. And Dharma Mountain's guiding principles. First, Dharma Mountain's method: promote comprehensive education, implement holistic care. Well, in addition to our Buddhist Studies Institute, we will eventually have a full education system: colleges, high schools, graduate programs with master's and doctoral degrees. We will also offer education for children, youth, women, and even the elderly, using various approaches to offer Dharma education across all levels of society. This includes both study and practice, using human-to-human influence. One person influences another, who then influences others. This is how education spreads, from person to person, from mind to mind. Many of you are here. Perhaps you didn't know about a place before. So it was me who invited you. It was a friend, a family member, or someone you know who brought you here. This is human-to-human transmission. So when we share the Dharma, that message spreads. Someone who hears me might pass the message on to someone else. That is the second layer of transmission. And beyond that, we also hope to use mass media to spread the Dharma. Well, actually, we're using it now. Society needs values, attitude, and methods of Dharma. People today lack not only material necessities, but also spiritual support. This is why the Dharma must be actively spread. And Dharma Drum Mountain is taking on this missions. So I hope that you can remember these lines. Well, of course, I don't expect you to have memorized them, but they will be published. Actually, it is on our website. So we will go like this. Dharma Drum Mountain's mission: uplift the character of humanity, build a pure land on earth. Dharma Drum Mountain spirit: dedicate ourselves to serving others, fulfill the needs of society. Dharma Drum Mountain's principle: return to the Buddha's original intent, promote purification of the world. Dharma Drum Mountain's method: promote comprehensive education, implement holistic care. So these are the 4 lines. In fact, education is a form of care, and care is a way to achieve education. This is the method by which Dharma Drum Mountain promotes the purification of our world and the upliftment of human character. Now, let me repeat this. Dharma Mountain's mission: uplift the character of humanity, build a pure land on earth. Then Dharma Mountain's spirit: dedicate ourselves to serving others, fulfill the needs of society. Then Dharma Mountain's principles: return to the Buddha's original intent, promote purification of the world. And then Dharma Mountain's method: promote comprehensive education, implement holistic care. So, as you may see, these 8 statements are what the world needs today, right? So, if the world needs them, let's all join together. And this is what we call turning the Dharma wheel. We must push it forward like the turning of a great cart wheel. Okay. Next is again the translation, and I'll read this a little bit long. So the translation goes like this. The Honorable Way asks further, how should those at home cultivate? Please instruct us. The Master said, I have composed a formless verse for the great assembly, merely relying on it to cultivate, and you will be as if always by my side. If you cut your hair and leave home, but do not cultivate, it will be of no benefit in pursuing the way. So the verse runs like this. The mind made straight, while toil following rules. The practice sure, and what use is dhyana meditation. Filial needs support the father and mother. Right conduct is in harmony with those above and below. Deference. The honored and the lowly in accord with each other. Patience. No rumors of the evils of the cloud. If juling wood can spin smoke into fire, a red-petaled lotus can surely spring from mud. Good medicine is bitter to the taste. Words hard against the ear must be good advice. Correcting failings give birth to wisdom. Guarded errors expose a petty mind. Persist daily in just. benevolent deeds. Charity is not the means to attain the way. Search our body only in the mind, while toil outside in search of the profound. Just as you hear these words, so practice. Heaven then appears right before your eyes. So it is the translation. So let's clarify a little bit. So the saying, the master continued, good knowing advisor, you in this assembly should cultivate according to this verse to see and contact your self-nature and to realize the Buddha way directly. The Dharma does not wait. The assembly may now disperse. I shall now return to Chaoxi. If you have questions, come quickly and ask. So you in this assembly should cultivate according to this verse and to see and contact your self-nature and to realize the Buddha way directly. The Dharma does not wait. The assembly may now disperse. I shall now return to Chaoxi. If you have questions, come quickly and ask. So at that time, Magistrate Wei, the officials, and the good men and faithful women of the assembly all attained understanding, faithfully accepted, honor the teaching, and practice it. Then the translation go like this. The Honorable Wei asked further, how should those at home cultivate? Please instruct us. Well, this is a continuation of the previous discussion. Earlier, there was a prefect Wei, an official during the Tang Dynasty, in the time of the sixth patriarch Master Huineng, who asked the master many questions. Master Huineng answered them one by one. At this, prefect Wei asked again, how should lay people practice at home? He said, I sincerely hope the master, the venerable master, will teach us today. Most of those present and listening to the Dharma are lay practitioners. So this teaching is especially meant to you. And the master said, I have composed a formless verse or markless verse for the great assembly. Merely rely on it to cultivate, and you will be as if always by my side. If you cut your hair and leave home, but do not cultivate, it will be of no benefit in pursuing the way. The Master said, this referring to the sixth patriarch, Master Huineng. I now speak of the assembly. I now speak to the assembly, I'm sorry. The Gatha of no form, or we say the markless form, markless verse, or formless verse. Simply practice according to this, and you will always dwell with me, no different from myself. If one does not cultivate in this way, then even if one saves the head and leaves home, what benefit is there to the way? Now these lines means I am now composing a verse for lay practitioner. And this is called the formless verse, or markless verse, or gatha of no form. No, whatever however you translate it, it's the same thing. So this is not a denial of the value of monastic life, or a claim that lay life is superior. It is not meant that way, because the sixth patriarch Huineng himself was a monastic. Rather, it is to encourage lay practitioners, even if one cannot leave the household life, by practicing in accordance with the kata of no form or formless verse, as described below, one can still obtain the same benefits as monastics. So we would like to offer this clarification. When Master Huineng received the Dharma transmission from the fifth patriarch, Hongren, he was just a practitioner, not yet formally ordained as a monk. Because of this, some modern groups, such as the so-called Yuan claim that from the time of the fifth patriarch onward, the Dharma was passed only to lay people, and that no monastics since then have received the true way. They say that Dharma has descended into the burning house. Well, it's just referring to the world of suffering, and is now transmitted to laypersons only. According to them, since Yi Guan Dao is composed of lay people, they inherit the true transmission, and monks no longer have access to it. But they forget that after receiving the Dharma, Master Huineng did save his head and receive full monastic ordination. For the rest of his life, he remained a monk, not a lay person. Furthermore, when Master Huineng passed down the Dharma, the disciples he transmitted to were all monastics, not a single lay person. It wasn't until the third generation after Huineng, under Master Ma Zhu, that a lay person named layman Pan, layman Pang Yun appeared. Therefore, the claims of Yi Guan Dao are their own assertions and do not reflect the true historical record of Chan Buddhism. So now many people speak about the Platform Sutra of the Sixth Patriarch. Our Dharma teachers speak about it. Lay practitioners teach it. Yi Guan Dao teaches it, and so do other modern religious movements. We refer to these latter groups as heterodox paths that attach themselves to the Dharma. That is, they have no original foundation of their own. So they borrow Buddhist scriptures to serve as their basis, much like parasitic plants or parasitic trees that grow on the trunk of another tree without having their own roots. Do such parasitic trees or plants exist? Yes. They are parasitic trees and parasitic grasses. Even so, trees are still trees, and grasses are still grasses. They each have their own function. So it's natural that many people believe in them and find them useful. Okay, I'll stop here for the moment now.
Báo